KBLA Talk 1580 special treat for you today. Going to do a deep dive on the topic of numerology. We are pleased to have in the space this morning a world-renowned numerologist. He specializes in residential and business numerology and provides insight on the power of numbers and how they affect our lives. He's also an author. The Power of Home Numbers and All About Numbers are his books. And combining his Eastern upbringing with his Western experience, and it's quite a broad experience at that. Jesse Kalsi, welcome.
Hi, how are you? It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. Of course, we were introduced to you as a numerologist, and I am very interested in numerology and how it works and how it can impact our lives. But you have all these other jobs and qualifications. You're a successful real estate broker. You're a certified FAA flight instructor. You've got a commercial pilot's license. You have a military background. A lot of folks would say, how would someone like that end up as a numerologist?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I came to the States in 1988, and that is after I came out of the military. And my karma, my destiny brought me straight to America. And like most immigrants, it's very challenging. It was then that time. I don't know now, because I believe now it is easy to get money from the government when you cross the border.
I don't know. Well, it's a whole other show.
But then, it was challenging. It was very difficult. I remember with the little money I had in my military background, I completed my flight training at Meacham, Fort Worth in Texas, and then I came down here to California to complete my flight instructor's rating. And at that time, that's all I thought I could do. Maybe set up a flight school is what I wanted to do here with my background. But then, life had different plans. Numbers, I was always fascinated by numbers, like you said earlier. Numbers, this is my passion, right? It's something that I've loved to do, and I've used it in my life paths to improve my existence. And but I'm actually a real estate broker by trade, is what I do to pay my bills. And but numbers has just kind of come in, and my experience and clients that came in large numbers over the years have helped me create these books and improve my life as well.
You said
numbers.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So numbers, it's a science, it's a science, and we can talk more about it. So you had a question.
Absolutely. No, I was saying that your life purpose came to you. And so many people are looking for their purpose or wondering if they're living on purpose and in the path they're meant to be on. So how did you receive that, and how did you know that was really it, right?
Yes. So I remember, when I completed my commercial pilot's license in Texas, and I was broke. All my money was gone, whatever little I had, and I didn't know what to do at that time. And it was kind of strange that I was picking up this message, right? And I felt that my intuition was giving me was asking me a lot of questions. I was getting answers to be guided to call so and so person who I've never met, and to go move towards Northern California, which I had never been, and I knew nobody here, and a whole bunch of stuff. But I just followed my gut, I followed my intuition, and then with my background on numbers, which I had very basic knowledge at that time, very basic knowledge, and but then with time, as I moved forward after I came to California here, I used to be a flight instructor at Hayward Airport, and then I thought that was not enough, and then got into real estate and brokering, but then as people came forward, and I remember in those days, I started using numbers to help them buy properties, right? To look at the date of birth and find the right energy in their homes, right? And that's how the first book, The Power of Home Numbers, was born, right? And then as it kept going, I remember, media. Bonnie Calling was the first one in San Francisco who put me on a station. That was early 2000, and then Cronford Television also got me there one time. So it just kind of, it just kept going by itself. it just kept going by itself, and I just kept flowing with it. See,
So I used to be on Cron TV. Sidebar. That's where I got my
Oh,
start. That's where I got my start in broadcasting, was on KRON TV.
oh my God.
Yeah, speaking of numbers, but yeah, okay. I want to dive more into the actual numerology when we come forward, but I mean, it just sounds like, okay, he's great at real estate. You know, he got a pilot's license. That is not easy. That's a lot of money and a lot of hours. I just did an event with a group called Fly Compton with, young black folks trying to become pilots. I mean, that's a huge thing. But yet, the numbers keep coming back, and you said you started incorporating it into your real estate practice and helping people find the right spot. And how did you know it was working?
It was working, but it was working, because see, when your life starts flowing in a certain direction and things become a little more comfortable, because you can pay your bills on time and have
It's always that's a sign for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So so that tells you that you're in the right direction, right? And then, but the biggest achievement I thought was when someone comes forward, they trust you and they consult you, and then you are able to with whatever little I knew, to share my life experience and look at their numbers and suggest, okay, do this or try this, and then they came back as a testimony, say, oh, this worked and that worked. So it's the people who you consult will pick you up, really. The other ones will pick you up.
Did that surprise you? I mean, at first, were you kind of more successful than you expected?
Yes, I absolutely am. I'm really surprised,
You're still surprised.
I am. I'm absolutely surprised. I'll tell you quickly, the first time that Bonnie put me on this radio station here in San Francisco, you just mentioned Concord, and I remember a client, this one gal came to see me, and then, I don't know, she went to a car, she called. I mean, that was so, it was like, it was given from, and it came from the universe, right? And then I talked to her, and then she kind of wanted me there, and I got her on a station, and then she said, oh, why don't you come over, and then we'll ask you a few questions and this and that. And so I thought she'd just, ask me a few questions, but I never realized that when she put me on the air, right? She said, hey, guys, call in and he'll answer your questions. And I remember I was so nervous that day. I was so, and then, but the first caller was this one gal, and she asked me this first question. I asked her apartment number. She had moved from, she had actually migrated from England. My answer to her was, based on her numbers and her medical situation, and she was absolutely shocked when I said that. I hit the bullseye, and then that I felt that as if some doors have opened, right? I felt that as if the universe wants me to move in this direction, and soon after that first question in 2000 on Seeing Beyond in San Francisco, I said all the doors opened.
23 years later, Jesse Kalsi, renowned numerologist and author, is my guest. And continuing the conversation, what is numerology and how does it work when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580?
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, children are the future. Here, tobacco companies are committed to higher education, offering scholarships to students who submit essays about the benefits of vaping. The tobacco industry even sponsors summer camps for kids. Don't worry, the tobacco-sponsored programs have been linked to leaving your kids more interested in smoking. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the world's deadliest industry is your child's friend. See reality at undo.org.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
You're ready to level up to your next home or your first home. But maybe you still have some questions. Come check out Rocket. We're ready to help. Start with a Rocket Mortgage home buying plan and get Rocket rewards along the way for cash toward closing. You got this, and Rocket's got you. Only with Rocket. Visit rocketbuyingplan.com to get started today.
Call 866-357-5727 for conditions and restrictions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access. Number 3030.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Numerologist and author Jesse Kalsi is my guest. Author of, among other things, The Power of Home Numbers. So let's start with the basic. What is numerology? You know, in your bio, it says you combine your Western, Western knowledge with your Eastern roots. What does that mean, and what does it mean in the context of numerology?
Yeah, so, I was born and raised in India, and, India is deep into spirituality, like everybody knows, right? But I belong to the Sikh faith, and the Sikh religion is, we much like, the Catholics, we just, they're serious on the Bible, and we are serious on our, on our Granth Sahib, our holy book, right? And so these things like astrology and numerology and all these different ways of metaphysics, right, is not encouraged really, right? It's like you read the holy book and you do the right thing and you work hard and mankind and do your donations, right? Is the basic principle, right? That's how it is set, and that's how I grew up, and that's my parents were very devout Sikhs, and so is my family. But I am the only one who just kind of veered away, right? And then with whatever life had to throw at me, right, I had to find answers, right, to kind of keep going through.
Yeah,
is how it happened. So that is my Eastern upbringing, and then my experience was pretty much Western. Coming to a different country completely, right, was my experience, and that's how. And it is interesting, Dominique, that both my books, right, were born in America, not in India. It's now that I have many celebrities in Bollywood, right? They endorsed the second book, and they all like to read my book and blah blah. Maybe because I live in America, that's why now. But yeah,
it could be right.
Please call me and talk to me and also nice to me. But then so it is America that gave me these books. It's this country is so lucky for me. And so to go back to your question, so numerology is the science of numbers. It's all about numbers. Now, there are many schools of numerology, right? See, here in the Americas, we have a system. We use a certain code. A lot of people use the Pythagorean code. And then the Chinese, they have another way of looking at numbers. They just love the number 8. And I feel that is, being done blindly. I'll explain that to you. And then the Hebrews have a system. The Greeks have a way of looking at it. The East Indians, where I come from, have another style of looking at numbers. And we use the Vedic code. It's a different code on numbers, we use a different code. And I believe that this one is more accurate than the others. And I've tried the other ones too, but I feel that the Vedic tradition has a stronger code on alphabets and numbers. So that's how it is said. But the thought is, the thought behind whatever little I do is to harmonize energy. So it's all about harmonizing energy, balancing energy. And how that starts is from our date of birth. So let's say, give you my example, right? I'm born on April the 3rd of some year. And so my basic vibrations, my numbers are number 3s and number 9s, right? And number 3 is Jupiter, and 9 is Mars energy. So we relate numbers and planetary energy. And then so if you look at my name, Jesse Kalsi, right, it vibrates on a number 9 as per the Vedic code, right? The place where I live here in the Bay Area is a V27, right? That's another number. The color that I drive is a white car because, that my energy works better with white and not with other darker colors, right? And many other things. This book all about numbers, and even the first one, right? They're all tuned to my name energy, my numbers, you see. So the thought is to harmonize and have numbers that work with you, around you all the time. So that's how it goes. Yeah, but there is one more thing, right? So we are not lucky every day, right? I mean, even if you harmonize your numbers,
right?
Yeah, it changes, the time changes, things keep changing. So even if you do it all and then you say, even every year we have certain periods. Like I'll give you my example. I'm happier in spring and fall, and fall's coming now. I'm so happy now. See, I'm already on your station. See, fall's coming. Yeah, just like that. Certain months are good. So it's just a little complicated, and you have to be patient. You have to understand, and you have to take it easy. And I believe that you have to be constantly connected to God. I believe in that big time, besides all the numbers.
So you said there's all these different numerological systems, and it sounds like the main one you use is your traditional Vedic system, which sounds like it is tied to astrology. So astronumerology, is that what you would call it?
You're absolutely right. They're related. See, like basic energy goes from number 1 to number 9, and each number has a planet that's associated with it. Now, say, for example, number 1 is Sun, or 2 is Moon, or 3 is Jupiter, or 4 is Uranus, or 5 is Mercury, or 6 is Venus, 7 is Neptune, 8 is Saturn, and 9 is Mars. So that is how we look at it, right? And then as these numbers add, they get more and more complicated. I'll give you one quick example, right? So say the number 1 and the 8, right? Is one example. 1 and 8, they don't kind of get along well because 1 is Sun and 8 is Saturn, right? And if you ask anybody in the story, they'll tell you that these two planets always collide. So now, if this energy, so 1 and 8, comes on your residence, right? Is one example, right? It'll bring in challenges, right? It'll bring in, personal challenges. It'll bring in. But if you are, say, in law enforcement, or if you're a nurse, or if you're a heart surgeon, or you work for the government or the FBI or the police, right? You'll excel professionally, but personally it'll challenge you, right? So that's just one example. And so now, say for example, number 5s and number 9s, which is Mercury and Mars energy, right? Whenever these come together, they'll move quickly, but they'll trip you. They'll trip you, and then the game goes back to your date of birth and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you have to be you have to work with your numbers, is what it is. Just work with your numbers. And once they're harmonized and the energy around you is harmonized, right, your luck will be better. It'll be better than a lot of people.
I probably should have talked to you before I changed radio stations. Radio stations always have a dial position, right? It's a number. This one is 1580. What do you say about 1580?
1580 is an excellent number. And I'll tell you why, right? So 1580, so what happens is, see, 5 and 8, right? So 5 is Mercury and 8 is Saturn. So that is like wearing a blue sapphire and an emerald. That combination always works. And 1580, right? And even if you add it across, right? So you got Mercury there, right in the numbers. And then if you add it to 8, 9, 5, 7, so it goes to another 14, right? So Mercury is coming twice. So Mercury is communication, and that is exactly what you're doing on the station, right? So your voice goes out loud and clear, right? And people love to hear you. That's how it's flowing for you.
Phew, good thing, since I already took this job. So I'm sure that there are a lot of people that, consider this as pseudoscience. I know, I am someone who follows astrology and has my whole life. My mom did too. And I find it really helpful. But I always have people telling me it's ungodly, or it's, it's a made up pseudoscience. It's, airy-fairy, hocus pocus. What do you say to those folks?
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, they are. I don't know here. I think the world is kind of getting more used to this energy now, right?
Yeah.
What it is about results. There are people all the time. There's the plus and the negative. There are all kinds of people, right? But I've seen that once they apply it, or if they ever are directed towards the information as they apply it and once they see the difference, right? And that's how they kind of slowly get attached to it. Here, even here in Los Angeles, I have met some very prominent and some very big people I've had the fortune of meeting, right? I've known this one gal, she's Afro-American, she's a huge superstar. I won't take her name though. Huge star. And I met her in Malibu one time, and my first book was there, and she was very nice. She took a picture with me, and I gave her my book. And then she told me her house number, so I told her that, it was not kind of flowing the best with her, then she could do better. And then that is the last time I met her, the first and the last time. And then I was reading a magazine, in the Hollywood magazine, and then there was a picture of the house that she went to the same number and said now she's sold her house and she's moved somewhere else. I don't know where, but she did listen to me.
Well, yeah, she probably listened to you and then started noticing what was going on in her life or in her house. So you do everything by the numbers, Jesse Kalsi, everything. You buy a pizza, you buy a house, you I don't know, marry, name your kids. No.
Yeah, my children, yeah, of course. Both my kids are, their numbers are matched. I have a little boy, and my daughter just came out of SMC, St. Mary's College here in Northern California. Right? She's a worker. She's a brilliant girl. And yeah, her numbers are matched. And
what do you mean her numbers are matched? What does that mean?
Her numerology, the way her name is written, right? Her name is the vibration of the name, right? So she's a Virgo, and she has strong moon energy, right? And so the way her name came, and the numbers are matched, and if the vibration matches her date of birth, that is how it is set.
I see.
And it's very interesting. I mean, she went to private school here, and then after that, she just wanted to go to one college, which was St. Mary's College, and I was getting nervous, and I said, my God, she just applied to this one college only. And so she tells me, Dad, why don't you relax and I'll get in there? And I was very nervous, but she did. Yeah, and then I was so happy, but yes, yeah. But I do, yeah, both my kids, both their numbers are matched as per their, the energies are matched with their date of birth, yes.
And I'm assuming you wouldn't move to a house unless the home numbers, as you say, add up.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. I will not. You know what, Dominic, I've seen many, many, many people over the years. Many. I've consulted some very, very, very wealthy people. I've seen them rise above, right on top. When I went to this gentleman's house, and there was a great party, there was a lot of money, and then the President of the United States was there at that time, and what an evening, right? And I've seen the same guy lose everything, So much money came, and then one wrong move on a residence, right, and everything went down the drain. So I can tell, but I'd definitely like to convey this message, through you to all those who are listening, right? See, your home numbers, the energy on your home is very, very important, right? And that energy has to flow with your basic energies for success. See, now say for one example, I'll give you one example. Say the number 1s and 4s, they'll get along really well, 1s and 4s. And whenever these 1s and 4s come together, right, they attract money quickly. Say, for example, you buy a house number which has 1s and 4s, so 1040, just for example. And so what that'll do is that'll move the money quickly, right, maybe 3, 4, 4.5 years. But then it's like a wheel of fortune. It'll climb up and it'll fall down. And I see it all the time. I see people go up and then they go right down. So it's important to understand those energies, right? Say, this is a fast-paced number, right? Make your money and get out, and then, another look. But then what also happens is I've seen is that these energies, finding the right numbers is not easy either, I've seen people who struggle. I know there's one lady right here in another area up here in Contra Costa, huge property, right? Huge property, but the wrong numbers. I met her recently, and all the kids are, they left home, and all professionals got doctors and lawyers. Okay,
well, this is going to be one of those da-na-na-na. You'll hear the end of the story after news, traffic, and sports, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Michigan State University is firing head football coach African-American Mel Tucker for alleged sexual harassment. The university announced Monday that it was terminating Tucker's contract for cause. It comes after the coach was suspended earlier this month over allegations of sexual misconduct involving a prominent rape survivor and activist. He has 1 week to make his case that he should not be terminated for cause. Contract talks between the Writers Guild of America and Hollywood studios are scheduled to resume tomorrow. The two sides' last official meeting was August 22nd. Film and TV writers are still demanding several protections, including artificial intelligence and minimum staffing in writers' rooms. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Between the drivers, walkers, and bikers, there's a lot happening on California roads. Remember, safety is sharing. Safety is caring. Share the road, share the responsibility, and go safely, California. From the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. Those of you who watched the NFL's Monday Night Football last night heard Snoop Dogg in the new intro song. Snoop is part of the new opening the NFL came up with to kick off the Monday night telecast. Snoop will be featured every week in the new opening with country music star Chris Stapleton and drummer Cindy Blackman Santana. Some troubling news and numbers for the Chargers. Chargers head coach Brandon Staley said there is no timetable for running back Austin Eckler to return to the lineup. Eckler missed Sunday's loss at Tennessee with an ankle injury. He was hurt in Week 1 against Miami. As for the numbers, the Chargers have scored a combined 68 points in their first 2 games and have yet to commit a turnover, but they are 0-2. Something is not adding up. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, this is LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to the 28th Annual Central Avenue Jazz Festival on September the 23rd from 11 to 7 p.m. For nearly 3 decades, the Central Avenue Jazz Festival has paid homage to the legendary Central Avenue and its influence on jazz history. Jazz, blues, and Latin jazz will be featured on 3 stages of music. Co-headlining are Hubert Laws with special guest Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. Parking is limited, so Metro and rideshare are recommended. Hubert Laws with special guests Eloise Laws and the Billy Childs Quartet featuring Sean Jones. The day includes plenty of food, merchants, and 4 pavilions focused on youth programming, art, health and wellness, and public resources. For more information, visit CentralAveJazzFest.com. CentralAveJazzFest.com. See you on the 23rd.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar,
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
And this episode, First Things First, is brought to you by Wealth Management LB. They can help you get your finances in order, whether you're a small business, a nonprofit organization, or an individual, visit them at wealthmanagementlb.com. That is wealthmanagementlb.com. World-renowned numerologist Jesse Kalsi is my guest this hour. He's also a successful real estate broker, and he was telling us a story about going to a woman's palatial estate. Huge property, you said, wrong numbers. Let's get the rest of that story.
Yeah, so it's interesting. This lady, she got in touch. She came through a referral, right? But she never told me who referred her. And so this was just very recently. And then so she invited me to her residence. And just kind of walked around, very huge property, right? But very lonely, right? And there was a child there who was, a professional who just came out of a very difficult marriage, and she herself is separated, and the two kids, both professionals again, they are out of the house, right? And so when I looked at the number, I said, this is a very, very heavy vibe for you. And so how long have you lived here? So she'd been there since 2007, right? And separated, alone. The husband lives in another property not far from there, but no answers. I mean, consulted a whole bunch of people, right? But the problem is the house number, right? Heavy vibration, very, very heavy vibration. Then I suggested a few things to her, and I said, this is what you need to do. But then, of course, in her case, she did not know, but now she has some information. She's read my books, and she's done some due diligence on me on Google and things like that. But she did apply that information. But it is very important, just like I was coming back to home numbers, right? So this is what home numbers can do, right? They are so important that if your life is not doing the best, right? If you're struggling with the many challenges, and things just keep going south every time, you have to, or you should please do look at your home numbers and look at them carefully, and you can research them yourself and see why isn't my hard work being rewarded, right? What's blocking me? You have to look at those answers and find those answers, and then you will. But home numbers are very important. So are businesses too, by the way, business names.
The names, the addresses. So are you adding up the numbers on the home and coming to a master number? Or are you looking at the series of numbers that are there? You're matching, and it's not just like this number is always bad. It's matching with that person, right, and their particular karma.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't add anything. No, I look at them individually.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, I tell you, hey, Dominique, see, number 6 is a great number for you, and so you should look for number 6 just for hypothetically, right? And so you say, okay, so Jesse, I found this great property in Beverly Hills, and it's a great deal, and the number was 4884, something like that, right? So I say. And then you told me the number 6 is a good number for me, and so say 4884 adds up to 816 to 24, right? So 24 is a 6, and then I got this number. So did you do the right thing? No, you did not. Why? Because Uranus, 4 and 8, they don't get along, right? It's colliding energies, like sinking downwards. It's like Solyndra. Remember Solyndra happened right here in the Bay Area when the White House invested money?
I do, yeah.
Went down. I made a video on that. That was the same energy. 4s and 8 pulled it right down, right? So that's what. Or if you say, hey, Jesse, I found this great property in Malibu, right? With a beautiful ocean view and everything, and the number is 501, Was that the right thing? No, because when Mercury precedes Sun, right, 5s before Sun, that again is like, it's no different than Area 51, right? That energy comes in, right? See? So it's heavy white. So it's complicated. It's not like just look at it's a series or add them or no,
right.
It's not like that.
Well, but you have a book, so I guess that you can tell us some things that people can kind of do on their own, right? I mean, the power of home numbers, it tries to teach us how we can utilize some kind of layman's understanding.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That book, Dominic, has a lot of information, right? If you read through that book, right, you learn a lot. I mean, you won't know everything, but you definitely get a lot from it, right? It'll get your mind ticking, and you'll start researching yourself. I've had people. I had this one guy in New York. She's so smart. She read my book, right, and she sold a couple of houses. She was so smart. She told me that too. But then there was some who read the book and say, "Oh, we don't understand it," So it's like that. So you have to.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very like there's so many different factors that you're bringing in. That person's astrology, the astrology of the numbers, the way the numbers themselves go together. But some numbers we get, right? We're just born with our date of birth. How many letters are in the name that our parents gave us? The address of the place that we work. I mean, a lot of those numbers we don't have any control over per se. If you found like, okay, my date of birth doesn't really resonate with me, or the amount of letters in your name may be different, maybe a better example. Do you try to change that, or do you try to adjust yourself to match the energy of the numbers that you were given?
Yeah. No, see, our date of birth is, of course, God-given, right? But what happens is that date of birth, we pick up the best vibration. So the thought is to, harmonize our name energy, and that is very easy. The alphabets, like whatever appears there, like say, Peter Ducey, right? Some name like that. I mean, of course, it's a famous name. So now that his date of birth, basic energy, has to be in sync with that name, right? To vibrate, right? It's basically vibration, right? It's rising to the higher level of frequency, right? So once that name is fine-tuned to your basic energy correctly, then it's like that vibration rises, right? The frequency, the resonance rises, right?
So people should maybe think about changing their names to match the vibration of their date of birth.
Yeah, absolutely, but not everybody. I mean, those who are successful. I mean, some who I mean, it can be looked at, right? I mean, you don't. No one has to do it. I mean, it's not compulsory, but definitely it's good to look at your energy and kind of understand it. It's like a little bit of research too, right? For every individual, that go check your vibration out and see how you could, reach your maximum potential. So this is one angle of doing it. There are many other ways I know, but this is one way of looking at it.
So what are some things you can tell the layperson about how they might apply the kind of vibrational understanding of numbers to their daily lives? I mean, a lot of people look at, like, when you talk about something like astrology, which is very, very complex, they kind of get a feel for certain things. Most people know about Mercury retrograde. They know some basic things about their sign, maybe their rising sign, gives them some navigational understanding, which can be useful to a greater and lesser extent, right? So can you give us those kinds of tools with numbers?
Yeah, absolutely. See, now what happens is the basic numerology, right? It takes a little time to calculate the best vibration, right? And I haven't explained that in the book because it is different with every person, right? But there's a little way to kind of calculate the best numbers, which most people have, and then from there, say for example, gemstones, right? Gemstones are very important because what really they do is they work with the chakra frequency. We all know how chakras work, right? The inner light switches, right? So those vibrations that help us, or work with our energy, those energies also help us in many ways to, enhance our frequency and to improve our luck. So that is one way of also improving energy. Now, using the right colors, those are very important too. Now another example is, just for a layman, the cars, the color of our cars, the license plate numbers, phone numbers, the numbers that vibrate, that has to bring in the right energy. So when the calls come in, you get good calls, you get successful calls coming in, right? So this is all a part of this whole gamut of numbers in numerology, right? So there's a lot to do and there's a lot to learn here, but I can tell you my life experience.
Yeah, we're surrounded by numbers everywhere when you put it that way. It sounds like, if you're not getting the calls you want, change your phone number, change your license plate number, change your address. Is that really what you're saying?
Yeah, of course. There are many things. Addresses, now I'll tell you what. See, now for addresses, there's something called as number patching, which is my trademark, it's my technique, right? So like I was giving you an example earlier about the number 1 and the age, right? Now, say, for example, someone says, well, this number and my date was not matching, so Mr. Kalsi, what do we do? So I don't tell the whole world, they go start selling your houses, and no, we don't do that. It's something like patching. See, number patching is a technique that I have. So what we do is we use a small sticker or another number, which is planetary vibration, right? So, and that again is in our date of birth. You can add a number or two on the addresses carefully, so that the energy shifts, but we don't confuse the mailman. You know how it is? So I've done this for many, many years. Yeah, we do. I've done this for many, many years. It's called number patching, and I've done this on homes, a lot of homes, and in many, many places by the grace of God.
Interesting. Well, you can find him on Instagram. I am Jesse Kalsi. I am Jesse Kalsi. Got quite a few followers here. Mr. Kalsi, when we come forward, I want to talk about that. Like, how do we know what our numbers are? I mean, I'm sure people ask you all the time how to play the lottery. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the numbers that create the positive energy, the productive vibrations that you're referring to. How do we know these numbers, these colors, these combinations that are most advantageous and most productive for us as individuals? That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Extended Family Outreach Ministry presents Praise Fest 2023, Worthy to be Praised Conference and Concert, September 23rd, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Morning worship, keynote address, and conference featuring women in creative arts ministry and leadership sharing our stories, His glory, giving all praise, honor, thanksgiving, and glory to God. Don't miss the afternoon Stand Up and Sing Praises concert with the Katinas, gospel singer Babby Mason, Three Daughters, and Kevin Click. That's Praise Fest 2023, Worthy to be Praised Conference and Concert, September 23rd, Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. For more information and tickets, go to PraiseFest 2023 at Eventbrite.com. Plus, for the next 48 hours, use promo code KBLA48 to get your tickets free. You do not want to miss this day of praise. That's PraiseFest 2023 at Eventbrite.com.
Applications are now being accepted for the City of Los Angeles Emergency Renters Assistance Program. The program provides up to 6 months of rental arrears to low-income residential renters who are at risk of homelessness due to unpaid rent as a result of COVID-19 or other financial hardship. Applications will not be accepted after 6 p.m. on October 2nd, 2023. Go online 24/7 at housing.lacity.org or call 888-379-3150 from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and see if you qualify. Apply today.
When my family does Walt Disney World Resort, we do it big.
Bippity boppity big, like Cinderella Castle.
Uh-huh, big, like those juicy turkey legs from Gaston's Tavern.
It doesn't get any bigger than the Tam Tam Drummers. Get it, Grandma.
Yeah, and big like Goofy's kicks. Yup.
It's your world, so do it big at Walt Disney World Resort.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Author and numerologist Jesse Kalsi is my guest. So how do we figure this stuff out? Like, what are not just my lucky numbers, but the vibrationally correct numbers that go with me as an individual? And you've referenced colors and other, vibration changers that we need to be mindful of.
Yeah. So yes, colors are very, very important, and of course we can know what colors are our best colors based on our numbers. So I would, just give you one quick example. Number 8, number 8, I believe in the Orient it pronounces with the lucky vibration. But number 8, as per Vedic tradition, has a lot of Saturn energy, and Saturn, as we all know, is a cold planet. It is slow, it's deliberate, it's karmic, right, and all that. So if that energy, if number 8 happens to be your date of birth, say for example, right, and I can tell you one thing, that stay in lighter colors like, blue, beige, green, off-white. These colors will help you, and avoid darker colors like driving a black car or a red car, because too much Saturn is like putting too much too much sugar in your coffee, right? It's like that. 8s, don't use more 8, right? Stay more with basic numerologies like number 1, 3s, 5s, maybe 6s, like that. So, but stay in lighter colors. So that would always help you, So blue, beige, green, off-white, and lighter colors will always help you. So that is just one example of, of just that one number 8 and how that works with colors.
And for that particular person, you're talking about that person with 8 in their date of birth, or a lot of 8s in their date of birth. That advice is for them. So when we say we're trying to figure out what our numbers are, or what numbers work for us, you can look at what comes up a lot in your date of birth, in your life. Short of going and consulting with you and finding out what you say our numbers are, how do we get a sense of that for ourselves?
I have talked about that in my books. In my in my second book as well. It's all about numbers. That information is there as well. I've given different numbers, and I've talked about lucky days and lucky months. I've talked about colors and a whole bunch of stuff. So that information you can start from my books as well. But that is a lot of information. Otherwise, when I've consulted people, I look at their basic vibrations. I look at their best numbers, and based on the best numbers and those colors that work with those best numbers is what I suggest. So that is that question is most specific, right? It's it's not general, but I talked about number 8 generally. But then what also happens is when that number 8 comes in, or it depends in what in what cycle it comes or in what month it comes. Right, so we have to look at a whole bunch of other stuff too. So
right, and of course we can get those books. Both of your books are available on Amazon, wherever folks get books. I think you can you order them off of your Instagram? I am Jesse Kalsi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my website. Website, Instagram. You can get it from there. Yes.
And in some cultures, let's talk about the U.S. Everybody thinks 7 is lucky 7. It has that reputation. Do you agree with that?
Yes, 7. It all depends how it comes, right? I remember I was listening to your show earlier, and you're talking about sports and jersey numbers, right? Yes, 7 is lucky, but 7 has to flow with your basic energy. Now, say for example, if you have a lot of moon energy, like the number 2, right, coming on your date of birth, then the number 7 is going to work with you magically, right? And you'll benefit the most from it, because 7 is Neptune, and Neptune is what? Water. So it's all the water of the world, right? Ocean. 7 comes in many places. You see big companies, right? Have that energy of 7. You see humongous stars, right? And there's one star in India. I can give his name, Amitabh Bachchan, right? He's a superstar, mega star, and he has a 7 because he has an 11 date of birth, right? So it's like that. So 2 and 7 has best combination, but 7, I feel that when 7 comes twice or thrice, it's luckier than 7 by itself. But 7 by itself, if it comes with you, say for example on a jersey number, like sports players have jersey numbers, and that's a big deal too with numbers, right? And I've had 7 numbers. I think Beckham had the 7. This Dhoni, who played great cricket for India, he had a 7. So then many people had 7, and but that again goes on your date of birth. But and that 7 is mystical. 7 is magical. Things come that you don't understand. You know how it is? It's like it's like someone else is kind of controlling your energy. 7, right?
Yeah. When we come forward, get some final thoughts from Jesse Kalsi. One of the things that I would love if you could address is this idea. People think that if you keep seeing a number over and over again, if you keep running into it, especially repeated numbers like 444 or 11s, sometimes we go through periods in our life where we're seeing one number everywhere. What does that mean? We'll look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Talking with author and numerologist Jesse Kalsi. Find him on Instagram. Find him on his website. Talking numbers, astronumerology. What are your best numbers? Can our digits change our lives? And what about this idea? I hear so many people saying this. Oh, I keep seeing the number 11 everywhere. I keep running into 444 everywhere. Do those kinds of incidental numbers showing up, does that mean anything in your view?
Yes, I think it absolutely does. It's a message for sure, right? The question is it a positive message or is it a different message?
Right.
Yeah. But what I feel is, right, I mean, whatever you see, right, those numbers have to, if those numbers are flowing with your basic energy, right, your basic numbers, right, then I feel it's giving you a positive message. You know, it could be anything. It could be maybe you're going to hear some good news, right, or things like that. And but if those numbers are kind of heavy, right, I mean, like you said, 444. Now Uranus coming 3 times, and I personally wouldn't like to see those numbers because they don't work with my numbers, you know. See, but I do see 555 often, you know, myself, like you said, to agree with you. I do see that, and 555 is always Mercury is communication, right? It's like KBLA, that your guys' number, right? And when I see 555, I feel very happy, and I have those 5s on my car as well as a license plate, right? So. Yeah, that's communication. But then like you said, number 11, yes, 11 does, and I see them too, by the way, what you said, I agree with you totally. And when I see 11, I just feel very, I feel as if it's the mystery, right? As some positive news is going to come to me because that energy of moon works with me because I also drive a car which is white, you know, the moon is white and this energy comes like that. So if you understand your numbers more and then relate your basic energy to what you see, right, you'll understand this even better, you know, more deeply.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Jesse Kalsi. Remind us how to keep track of you. Remind us your numbers.
Okay, good. So you can reach me through my website, which is jessekalsi.com. It's JESSEKALSI.com, or you can just Google me, Jesse Kalsi, and you can find me there. I've done a little bit of work in the past. You can easily connect with me, and my contact number is on my website. And I'm very grateful for everything, and I'm very grateful, Dominic, to you for having me today. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. And we are continuing the reparations conversation. A young man, Rashid Littlejohn, from a group called the Negro Anti-Defamation League, will be joining me tomorrow. That will be a lively conversation. We'll start off the day with Council Member Marquise Harris Dawson. So we've got a lot in store for you tomorrow. Tavis Smiley is up next with a full slate of interviews and conversations on deck. I'm Dominic DePrima. History is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, stay safe, be well, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information